Hello everyone, in today's video we are going to discuss how to play the Catalan opening, and today we are going to discuss it by looking at a game played between Rasmus Swain versus David Gravelship. The game is very epic and one of the model game I would say, so I don't want to waste any further time, so let's start. So Rasmus Swain is playing with the white pieces and he opens up the game with 1d4. We have knight to f6, c4, e6, g3, d5, bishop to g2, the Catalan opening, bishop to b4 check, and we are playing the move knight to d2 in this position. So that basically whenever black captures the knight, we would be having the bishop pair advantage. So black short castle, we play knight to f3, pawn takes, and now we play the move queen to c2. You can also do short castle and e3, both the moves are extremely fine. I guess queen c2 is a move that gives you a bit more flexibility with the ideas of a3 and short castle, as you are already putting pressure on the pawn on c4. So black plays a5, a3, asking the bishop takes, bishop takes. So already white is having the bishop pair advantage. So black plays b5 in order to protect the c4 pawn, and now white plays the move a4. If the queen would have been on d1, white would have played b3 because after takes, white can take the pawn back with the queen, and now white can just put pressure on the queen side pawns by just short castling, put the f rook to the c1, and white is already very comfortable. But as the queen is already on c2, white can play a4, as b4 is already met with queen into c4. So we have c6, e4 now. So already short castle is also a fine move, but Rasmus Swain decided to play a bit aggressively by playing e4. His idea is already to launch a crazy attack on the king side. h6, maybe covering the bishop g5 ideas. And now Rasmus Swain played a very interesting move which is g4. He played the move g4, which is actually very interesting. What is the whole point of g4? The idea is to simply push the pawn to g5. And if you try to capture the pawn, it's already a mistake, as after e5, you will realize the knight on g4 is simply trapped. I can play h3 or queen e4 to attack the knight and the game is over. You won't believe it, but the best reply for black is to play f5, h3, and sacrifice the knight. And white is already better. So definitely knight into g4 is a move that is not practically and human-wise playable. So we have the move knight b to d7, one of the most common moves. You are simply focusing on developing your pieces. g5 takes e5. So white is not really capturing the pawn back, but white's main idea is to simply attack the black king. e5, knight h7, protecting the pawn, and now white again played a very interesting move, which is to play h4. If you capture the pawn, rook h4 is kind of game over. White is having all his pieces in the attack, short castle, rook h1, and the game is over. So if you try to push the pawn, I can play knight to g5, threatening mate in 1. You have to take, and again after g6, I can simply capture the b5 pawn, as you cannot capture it because the rook is hanging. So it's already again winning for white. So in the game we had rook a6 playing, like basically just removing the rook from this bishop's diagonal. We have takes, g6 because white was already threatening mate in 1. So the g6, queen to e4, a very standard idea with queen e4, queen h4, just threatening one move mate. So rook e8, queen h4, knight to f8, defending checkmate. And now white played the move queen to h2, which I personally feel like it's a mistake. I believe white could have simply played knight to h2. What's the idea? The idea is to simply play knight g4 followed by knight f6. And you won't believe it, but the game is over. Black is not really having any way to defend it, and white is completely winning. But in the game we have queen h2, which I don't know what is the reason of playing queen h2. But okay, now we have the move f5, which is again a blunder by black. Like queen h2 just gave black some chances with bishop b7, and the position is kind of fine for black. Still white is having a big advantage, but still it would have been the best. But f5 is simply like a losing move because white simply unfastened it, and now the bishop is also joined in the attack. The f6 pawn is already very strong. So we have finally b into a4, bishop to f4 now, queen to c7, and now finally f7 check. And you won't believe it, but the game is over. Because in the game we had king into f7. If you take with the queen, knight g5 is already a very strong move, because the whole point is you cannot capture the knight because it's a one move mate. So if you try to move the queen, I can simply play knight to e4, not capturing the knight. And knight f6 now on the next move is a game over. So in the game we had king into f7, but queen into h7 check, and on the 23rd move, black decided to resign the game. Why? Because if you first of all, you don't really have any choice but to capture the queen. The rook takes, you have to move the rook, and after takes, you will realize white is having two minor pieces for a rook, and basically black is having a horrible pawn structure. White is having the bishop pair. Just move the king, get the rook. Basically, white can simply enjoy this position, whereas black's all pieces are completely dead and the position is positionally, materially lost. So this was a perfect game played by Rasmus Swain to beat David Gravelsøe. And yeah, this is how you can actually play the Catalan opening with the white pieces. And now you can already realize how powerful this opening can really be. So yeah, if you learned anything new from this opening, from this game, make sure to like it, share it, subscribe it. I'm going to come up with these more interesting videos like this because Catalan opening is still, we have a long way to go. I'm going to come up with these more interesting videos like this. So yeah, so till then, stay tuned and bye bye.